Jurassic Park Fallen Kingdom. Now we all know that there are dinosaurs on this island of Isla Nublar. Now, do we really need to go back to the same island 5 movies after you have known that there are dinosaurs on that island that eat you alive? Was this movie really necessary? Is this movie any good? Let's find out in this full review of Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. By the way, if you are new here or in case you just can't remember, my name is Puneet and this is the Afterthoughts Network. Let's get started. Now let me get this started right off the bat. This is a really fun and enjoyable summer blockbuster movie. Now does this capture the magic of the first Jurassic Park, which was released back in 1993 and directed by Steven Spielberg himself? No, it does not, and I don't think any other Jurassic Park movie will ever capture the same magic again, because at that point you and I were seeing dinosaurs on screen for the first time, and that was beautifully done. And I don't think any movie can capture the same magic again. So after stating that, I have to say that this is a really enjoyable movie, and in my opinion this is the second best movie in the Jurassic franchise, which started way back in 93 with Jurassic Park, then The Lost World, Jurassic Park 3, Jurassic World, and now we are at Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. Now this is not a movie that was shoved down our throats. This is not a sequel just for the sake of being a sequel. This is a really properly developed storyline. It is a plot driven movie, and I have to say the story works for the most part, and that really is the backbone of this movie. Now in the trailers we were given a basic gist of the storyline of this movie, that on the island of Isla Nublar there's this volcano that's about to go off, and if it goes off it will wipe out all the dinosaurs. And this movie does raise some interesting conversations, interesting questions, that do these animals deserve to be saved? Do we treat these dinosaurs that are a genetic anomaly? Do these animals deserve the same treatment we give to our animals, our wildlife that are naturally here? Are these synthetic creatures that do not deserve the same treatment? That is the basic point this movie tries to make, and I think the movie makes it well enough, all the while being a really fun and enjoyable movie. Now these characters, which we know from the first movie of Pratt and Bryce Dallas Howard, along with some other members, go on to this island, save these animals and bring them back so that they can be resettled in some sanctuary. But their things go wrong, and then we have dinosaurs in the city. This much we saw in the trailers, and I have to say that's not the whole story, but I would still say that the trailers gave away a lot of the movie, lot of the points of the movie. It did not give away the entire movie like most trailers do these days, but yes, the trailers gave away a lot of points of this movie. At several points in the movie I was like, okay, I know what's going to happen because I have clearly seen that scene in the trailer. So I would have wished, really wished that the trailer did not give away some points of this movie. And there are some great throwbacks to the original movies which came before this movie. That's why I really enjoyed this movie. Now one of the things that I mentioned earlier was that this movie is not shoved down our throat. It's not a sequel just for the sake of being sequel. It is a sequel in a sense that it starts a conversation, it raises some questions, as well as it follows a logical reasoning why the things are happening in this movie and why are they connected to the previous movies that came before it, and how the actions of previous movies have led us to this point, and how the actions of previous movies have repercussions in this movie. That was a basic thing that this movie accomplished, that it had a through line. This was not a sequel for the sake of being sequel. Now before we get to the characters and the acting, I have to say one thing, that the direction and cinematography of this movie is really brilliant. I mean, some of the shots that the director has chosen to frame in this movie are simply work of art. You can actually choose some of these shots to become wallpapers or even posters, and they would look really good. Apart from that, there is some unique camera work going on in this movie that the director has chosen to do, and I have to say that I found it really amazing. I had to point out to my sister, which was watching the movie with me, that was some great shot. That is some great camera work there. And I have to say the direction of this movie and the cinematography is really great. Now coming to the actors and the characters of this movie, we get to see the old characters from the previous movie, Chris Pratt and Bryce Dallas Howard, back in their roles, and we get some new characters added to this movie. And I have to say that some of the characters worked brilliantly for me, and some of them really did not meet my expectations, or any expectations for that matter. Now in this movie, we get to see more of the chemistry of Bryce Dallas Howard and Chris Pratt, and I think that people will buy more into their relationship in this movie than in the last movie that was shown to us. I did not buy their relationship in the last movie, and that was the basic hook that took me out of this movie. But in Fallen Kingdom, their relationship really works, and the choices that their characters make really make the movie for me, and that is the basic backbone of this movie, that everything that is going on has a logical reason behind it and has a progression, has a story, has a thinking behind it. Now the new characters added to this movie, which accompany the characters of Bryce Dallas Howard and Chris Pratt on the island, work really great. I especially like the actress. Let me get her name. Yes, Daniela Pinera. And she was really the standout character for me. I really loved her character in this movie. The way she acted, the way she expressed things, and what were her thought process was really good for me. And she was not there for being there, but she really had a purpose in this movie, and she worked really well for me. One of the negatives are some of the characters that did not work for me. I'll talk that in the later part of the video. But for the most part, I really bought into the characters, and that brought me into the movie. Now this is an action movie first and foremost. It's an action thriller, popcorn flick, fun, entertaining. Yes, but it really does have heartbreaking moments. I was really sad, and my heart was like someone went into my body and just crushed my heart at some of the moments. I will not go into details what these moments are, but I was really saddened up when some of the things happened in this movie. I really felt for the characters, felt for these creatures that should or should not exist, but I really felt for them. Now, as I said, this is an action movie. This is actually a kind of a roller coaster ride, because it takes you from action to the deep emotions, and then back again into action, and then again into deep emotions. This is a really fun roller coaster ride, and in all of this, J.A. Bayona has thrown in a flavor of that horror aspect that he's good at, because there are some really good scares, some really suspense tension building scenes, and really some jump scares that really get you. And all of this mixture, I think, has worked really great for this movie. I would not say this is a perfect movie, because now we get into the negatives of this movie. One of the things, the negative is the villain. I think the villain of this movie was completely one-dimensional. The villain did not work for me, and he was there acting as a villain just for being a villain. Another thing that did not work for me in this movie was there's one plot line in this movie that comes towards the end of it. The movie did not need it. If you just removed that plot line, the movie would have been much better in my opinion. And that's why sort of right at the end of this movie, I was just taken out, because the movie really did not need that plot line, and you would have achieved the same thing. So I just don't know why they put it in there. But still, for the most part, the movie worked. Like 95% of the movie still works. It's fun, enjoyable thriller. It is suspenseful, it is heartbreaking, it is enjoyable. So that last 5% of this movie that did not work does not break the entire movie. This is a really fun and enjoyable movie, and I think everyone should watch this movie, because if you like this franchise of Jurassic Park, Jurassic World, then you are going to love this movie. And I think all the mixed reactions the movie is getting, I can see that some of the negatives might not work for other people, but I think the negatives of this movie do not outweigh the positives. Rather, the positives outweigh the negatives far more, and that's why this movie really works for me. And I would recommend this movie to everyone. So have you seen this movie, or are you planning to see this movie, because it released in India this weekend? And what are your thoughts on this movie? What are your thoughts on this video? Please write it down in the comment section below and let me know. And if you like this video, please hit the like button, hit the thumbs up. We do need the likes. If you want more content from our channel, please hit the subscribe button that is down below and the bell icon, so that you'll be notified whenever a new video drops. Till that happens, my name is Puneet. You're watching the Afterthoughts Network. Bye bye.